Louisiana State University. It looks like they just jumped on. Yep. If you guys can go ahead and unmute yourself. Perfect.
All right, can you hear us?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. All right. Just a reminder, you will have 10 minutes to present. When you have 2 minutes left, I'll hold this up for you. And then you'll have 15 minutes for question and answer from the judges. Do you guys have any questions?
I think we're good, just getting everything set up.
Okay, yeah, you have a couple minutes, so feel free to get set up and just let me know when you're ready.
All right. I think that's good. Everybody ready?
Yep.
All right. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Adam Burkhalter. I'm the project executive at Bayou Bengal Builders, and today we're going to be going over the Evac-1 and Deep Ellum proposal in Dallas, Texas. Our company has had a presence in Texas for over 30 years. We're well versed in high-rise construction and downtown logistics. Our management team has over 100 years of combined management experience. Our work has not been limited to just North Texas. The KPMG Plaza is a performance arts hall in Dallas, and the Brook Hollow 1 is a commercial office space in Houston. This showcases that we are well versed in handling downtown logistics, high-rise construction, and the LEED certification process. Joining me today is our safety director, Martin Sikorsky, our lead estimator, Corbett Russell, and Kirsten Weidel, our lead scheduler.
So now we'll go over our safety culture here at Bayou Bengal Builders. Here we have our core components of hazard mitigation, safety execution planning, training programs, and our culture-driven orientation, what allows us to achieve an industry-leading safety program. This allows us to provide the best product in the safest way. Here at Bayou Bengal Builders, we abide by all CDC and Texas state government COVID-19 regulations. However, we do have a COVID safety plan ready to implement it at a moment's notice. Our emergency action plan has been developed by involving all of our contractors, our project management team, and superintendents to give the best detailed plan. Here you can see an example of one of our emergency evacuation maps. That is a floor specific. We've marked all exterior exits and include the location of a radio station that will also have a first aid kit for our contractors. We focus on the training of our contractors and staff to ensure consistent execution of our emergency action plan. BBB has researched and developed specific mitigation plans utilizing the field team, safety supervision, training, and documentation for each of the hazards you see here to ensure a safe job site. We have a specific concern for personal fall protection and site navigation, along with the construction of the cantilevered levels on this project. We are aware that high coordination with the structural engineer is imperative to ensure structural soundness.
Now let's go over the numbers. Our original budget price was at $89 million, but after subcontractor review, our guaranteed maximum price is now at $74 million. This chart is the cost allocation of all divisions above 5% total cost. Now we'll go over why you'll pick us for your project. One thing that sets us apart from the competition is our in-depth document review. We review each page and note to ensure full compliance with the plans and specifications. We work with industry partners to utilize their expertise on contractor design scopes of work. One way to control risk is to provide a responsibility matrix to our subcontractors to ensure no scope gaps or overlaps. We also pre-qualify bidders to ensure subcontractor quality and success. Our escalation and control plan consists of tracking material volatility and ENR cost indices to prevent a large material price change orders during construction. We provide our clients for every project value engineering and life cycle cost analysis so they know where their cost is going and what costs to expect in the future. One possible VE item that we see is providing square ducts in lieu of round ducts in the office area for a possible savings of $235,000. Our operational success plan consists of handoff meetings, buyout and expediting subcontracts, long lead long lead item identification to ensure no hangups during project startup.
Now we're going to talk about how we are going to deliver you the highest quality end product. So site location, we understand that Deep Ellum is a very diverse and up and coming neighborhood. With I-75 to the west and a DART rail line to the east, our goal is to not impact the general public at all. Our site utilization plan is something that we developed in depth because we're in such a high density area. We've designated entrances, exits, and provided space for deliveries to be loaded and unloaded. Next, we're going to talk about long lead time items. We are aware of material shortages and delays in today's economy. Items that might impact our project are glazing, steel, rebar, aluminum wall panels. With this, we have a procurement team that will be tracking these items with our scheduling to ensure we meet our milestones. Project coordination is going to be of really high importance on this project. With 2 projects coming up in the immediate area next to us, we look forward to coordinating with those project teams with weekly coordination meetings to ensure there is no interference between the projects. One unique system we selected for this project is the cutter soil mixing method. We've chosen to place this around the entire site to decrease excavation and schedule durations. This method is safer, faster, and less material heavy than shotcrete and soil nails. Our work will be zoned east and west, which will allow crews to be forming in one zone while another zone is tying rebar or placing concrete. This will apply to floors B2 through 6. This is a look at our in-depth crane placement plan to provide full coverage to the site throughout the project. The cranes will be critical for all trades on site to move materials and supplies vertically. Towards the end of the project, we will remove the shorter of the cranes to facilitate construction of the upper floors. Quality assurance is a top priority here at BBB. Our quality assurance plan starts before the work does with pre-inspections and continues during the work with follow-up inspections. We do final inspections and punch lists to deliver our client the highest quality products. Also, we have developed this BIM model to assist with any early RFIs, MEP, and structural coordination to mitigate issues early and maintain a high standard of construction. Lastly, we will provide the owners with live feed of the job site using Blue Ox Live cameras and weekly 360 photos and drone video.
All right, now we move on to the schedule. After notice of award and notice to proceed, BBB will begin to mobilize and prepare the site for construction. To build a sound structure, construction will begin from the ground up. The soil retention system will start in May, and earthwork and mass excavations will begin in June. Work will be phased by location, east and west, to save time. This allows processes to overlap. As you can see, foundations begin before earthwork and mass excavations complete. From foundations, we'll work our way up by floor, finishing the parking structure in April of 2022 and the superstructure in March of 2022. Here, the project will shift to a top-down methodology. We'll shift to this process to ensure a watertight seal waterproofing for proper dry-in of the project. Following glazing and dry-in, we begin interior build-out by floor. All inspections and testing will wrap up for May 25th, 2023, followed by substantial completion. Final completion isn't far behind on August 17th, 2023, leaving the project to a total of 622 calendar days.
All right, is there any questions?
Hey guys, yeah, great job. This is Amanda. I'll kind of hop in with a couple questions for you. Sounds like you guys have experience in high-rise construction. Can you tell me what the biggest risk is associated with building high-rises?
So one of our top priorities, and we mentioned our top 5 hazards, was fall protection of our personnel. We have guard wires in place 6 feet away from leading edges with the mesh to make sure that no material gets thrown off the edge, and damage around in the areas. We also focus on the cantilevered sections, as I mentioned earlier. I want to make sure that we have proper coordination with our engineers to make sure that those are installed safely and completed without formwork being removed too early.
Great, okay. Question about the value engineering. So you did mention there was already one VE item that you've thought of. It's about $235K to go from a round to a square duct. Has your quality control team already put that in the BIM model, and will that work with the overhead?
Yeah, that can absolutely be something put into the BIM model. Right now, we develop our BIM model based off the bid set. That way, we are in full compliance with the documents. We don't want to implement any changes too early into the project until we have owner approval. Once we have owner approval, we'll absolutely make those changes.
Okay. Were there any other value engineering opportunities you guys can present?
One of the big costs on this project is going to be your storefront system. It's a structural system. For our bid, we chose the basis of design, but we can absolutely look at less expensive but equally good products and manufacturers. But
Okay, 10-4.
when we're talking about VE, we do offer a early pay discount of 1.5% to the owner if we get paid earlier. And that's something that we're happy to offer the owner.
Okay, great. How about, can you elaborate a little bit more on the project softwares and the programs you intend to use on this project?
Sure. Procore will be used to be able to notify subcontractors of plan changes, and also the owner will have access to Procore to see updated videos and photos of the job site, which will be taken weekly on every floor of the building.
Okay, great. That's all I had. I will hand it off to Andrew.
Okay. So my first question for you guys is really based on your estimate. So within your estimate, you guys have testing at 518,000 for the job. How did you guys come up with that number?
We base this number off of a couple historical projects. Here at Mighty Bengal Builders, a lot of the testing that we do is provided by owner. So we have to kind of inflate that number to kind of encapsulate any unforeseen testing requirements. But if we don't use all of that number, we're more than happy to provide a credit back to the owner for the testing that wasn't used.
Okay. My next question is on your milestone schedule. I noticed that you have permanent power coming on at the end of March, but you're going to be running conditioned air early to mid-March. And I was just wondering how you're able to achieve the startup of your units before your permanent power is in place.
Yeah, you can.
I can step in on this one.
Okay,
So
yeah.
we're going to utilize a temporary cut-in of utilities before the permanent power is on. And we foresee that with that temporary cut-in, we'll have the amperage to run some of the conditioned air at a reduced capacity before permanent utility installation.
Okay. So my last question is based off the estimate again, and it's really more of a statement than a question. I noticed that you have a line item in there for coffee and donuts for the OAC.
Absolutely.
At $3,100, right?
Absolutely.
And you have office supplies at $2,100. So I'm thankful that you guys are going to take care of us during the OAC meetings.
Just the best coffee and donuts.
All right, that's all I got. Good job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, it's Brant. Couple questions noticed seen in the clarifications and assumptions. You guys are going to self-perform concrete paving with your own crew. What's your prior experience with concrete paving?
Right, so I can talk about that a little bit. On both the project examples we gave you, the KPMG Plaza and the Brook Hollow 1, both those include parking structures. One is an underground parking structure. So our crew has experience doing the approaches, ramps, and floors in those structures. So we have an experienced crew who's more than ready to get going on concrete paving.
Okay, cool. And then I've got another concrete related question. So also in the clarifications assumptions, you guys have a Super P admixture for the decks. What's the purpose behind that? And how does that play in with your post-tension slabs?
So the Super P admixture, it was in the specs that we were allowed to add that. That's going to help us accelerate our schedule, so that way we can have less formwork on the job site, so we're not having to shore up so many floors beneath our working surface. And that's going to help us achieve our under 24-month schedule duration, in that we'll be able to accelerate the cure times on that using that Super P admixture. So that way our crews can stay busy, continually jumping up the formwork to stay on schedule.
Okay, and you guys have looked into like the hot weather procedures and the effects of hot weather on that type of admixture in Texas? I know it gets really hot in Dallas in the summer.
Yes, yeah, we have looked into that and made sure, our haul times are going to be kept down. Ice might be added to the mix, or nitrogen to keep that material cool, so that we have more working time with it.
Okay, great. And then lastly, a good question. What separates you guys from all other companies with regards to your safety culture?
So we plan everything as a team development standpoint. We want to incorporate our subcontractor supervisors, so they have experience in specific fields, whether it be the steel erection to the electricians, right? And then as far as us, we communicate with our superintendents and our project management team, with our safety management team as well, to just make sure that we cover all aspects and put as many brains together as possible. Our training through our indoctrination video is very elaborate, covering all top 5 hazards. We're covering PPE, we're covering fall protection, to our orientations, where we have every new sub that comes on the job has to be oriented with the specifics of this project, while our indoctrination video covers a much broader scope. We also do practices a lot. We train our subs, so we'll do practice EAP drills where we'll evacuate the site and time it to make sure that we're efficient as possible.
Very good. That's all I've got. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, this is Tommy. I've got a few questions here on the first couple coming from the GCs. Looking at your GCs, it appears you've got about $25,000 set aside for the building permit. Can you elaborate on how you arrived at that value?
Yes, we researched permit pricing on the City of Dallas's permitting website, and we feel like they'll cover the total permitting cost for this project.
Okay, and then if you clearly feel that that's adequate, if you find that value is inadequate and the permit costs come in higher, will you absorb that cost, or would you look to us to fund that overage?
We'll absolutely cover that cost. That's something that we're responsible for. We're not trying to get money from the owner for that. That would be solely on us.
All right, thank you. Looking at your GCs a little bit further, it also looked like you had a line item in there just north of $100,000 for hoisting for subs. But then I also see you've got the tower crane cost in here. Is there a double up between those two line items?
Like Adam said previously, we're going to phase one of those cranes out, and we're actually going to provide a building mounted hoisting platform for subcontractors to use, because towards the end of our scheduled duration, we're going to be throwing up a lot of glazing, and we're not going to have a whole lot of time to hoist drywall and other materials up to the upper floors. And that way we don't delay glazing at all.
Okay, very good. And then moving over to your GMP summary form, we realized as an owner we didn't give the proposing firms a space on that form to include the cost for general liability insurance. Can you all confirm if you have GL included in your number, and if so, what a rough value for it is?
Absolutely. We do have general liability insurance covered. That is something that we included in our just general overhead and profit because to us, that's just the cost of doing business.
All right. Very good. That's it for my immediate questions. Judges, it looks like we still have about 5 or 6 minutes here if you have any additional questions.
Yeah, hey guys, this is Jake. First off, great job on the presentation. I did notice on the schedule slide that it looks like your structure complete to dry-in complete has a little bit of a gap right during the middle of the winter. I just wanted to see what your guys' plans were in case there are, rainstorms that come in during that timeline to help mitigate any sort of moisture getting into the building.
So that's kind of, that goes into our roofing timeline and everything like that. For drying of the building, we're gonna wait until each floor is complete before we begin interior build out of materials. And that's gonna mitigate any intrusion of water. Is having the proper roofing system, proper waterproofing materials, and dry and complete before we put water sensitive materials into the building.
Okay, perfect.
Hey guys, this is Amanda. I've got one more question for you. With your tower crane layout and plans, you've got 2 tower cranes there. Can you tell me how you came to sizing each of those and locating them and what the heaviest pick was?
Right, so our tallest tower crane is 270 feet. I believe the radius is at 180 feet on that biggest tower crane. We calculated that our biggest piece of formwork that we're gonna have to move, which is our heaviest load, is gonna come in around 8,000 pounds. So at that radius, our tower crane is rated for a capacity of 10,000 pounds to include that safety factor there. In addition to that, we used a formula to calculate the extra overhead space. So there's approximately 35 feet of clearance over the roof of the building, so that the crane will have plenty of room to pick and carry things over the final height of the building. In addition to that, our shorter tower crane will be there for a shorter duration, as that parking structure and roof garden will be completed. That tower crane will be taken down halfway through the project to minimize cost. And also increase safety, as things won't be being hoisted overhead in that area.
Okay, that's great. Another question. Looks like you have selected for your proposal a self-climbing crane, tower crane. How many jumps do you plan on doing with your self-climbing crane?
So our self-climbing crane will perform 3 different jumps throughout the job duration on the tallest tower crane. And with that, there is on floor 11, I believe, there is a tie-in that will be performed to the building to tie the crane to the structure to mitigate any risk with going too tall with that. So.
No, that's great. And you have it built into your schedule to go infill the tiebacks, I take it?
Yes, yes.
Awesome, that's great. In terms of the schedule and some of the material you guys are bringing on site, do you guys foresee any issues with lead times? And what is the longest material lead time that you have that you see?
Yeah, so we talked about that in the presentation. Glazing is a big one, structural steel, metal decking, things like that. That is extended lead time items. And what we're going to do is we have a team dedicated to tracking these items, talking to our suppliers, talking with our subs, making sure those are getting on site on time, and understanding months in advance what the lead times are on those. So that way, when the scope of work arises, that they'll be on site at the proper time, so that there's no delay with our subcontractors.
So based on some of the initial feedback, what's the lead time you're hearing on glazing?
Glazing, it used to be close to 8 to 12 weeks. Now we're talking in numbers of months, so up to 4 to 5 months lead time on glazing.
Okay, great. That's all the questions I had.
All right, this is Tommy. I've got one more question since we're on the topic of glazing. Looking at your Exhibit C milestone schedule chart, you all have glazing starting on September 22nd of 2022, and completing on, I can't make it out if it's what month it is, but it's the year previous. So it looks like there's maybe a typo there. Can you elaborate and clarify your schedule on the glazing, when it starts and how long you anticipate to be installing it?
Yes, that's actually a typo in both parts. Glazing is supposed to start on the 29th. The month and the year should be correct, but it's supposed to complete on January 18th of 2023, I believe.
Okay, so the start date again, I didn't catch that, I'm sorry.
September 29th
Okay.
of that year. Yeah.
So it looks like with that start date, y'all would have a little bit of a lag between completing the superstructure and starting the glazing. In the interest of schedule, do you think there might be some opportunity there to start glazing before the superstructure completes all the way, have a little bit of overlap to pick up some time?
We wanted to start glazing after the superstructure was complete, and we left that lag in the schedule in order to ensure that the building would be watertight and that our waterproofing and roofing system would be complete. Some other advantages that we took in the schedule was phasing to try and tighten everything together. So we already have some overlap in other processes. I'm sure when the time comes when everything's going into place, if we can get things started sooner than anticipated, that's definitely the goal.
Okay, that sounds like a good response there. Judges, last call for questions. It looks like we have time for one more, if anybody's got a last one.
I'll ask one. So from your original project cost at 89 million and your revised project cost at 74 million, you guys came down $15 million, right?
Yes,
Which is
sir.
great. I mean, that's what the owner wants to see. If we were to award you guys this project today, based off your revised project cost, would you be willing to take on all change order work moving forward at no cost to the owner?
That's something we would have to see the size and scope of the change orders. That's kind of a large ask to see, but it's absolutely something we consider. We're sitting at around a 3% overhead and profit rate, so we feel like we're very competitive on that end, and we're confident in our $74 million. But depending on the size and scope of the change orders, that would be something we'd have to consider.
Okay, well, I guess we could talk about it over donuts.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bio Bengal Builders.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Great job, guys.